But look at this. Jan 6 Committee of Stooges on Hannity. Oh, shit. Oh, that's green, right? Because I've still got the green screen on there. Hold on. This is so fun. Wait 1 second. Where did I... This is so odd. Comms window. That's this guy. There you go. There's this guy. That's that one. Which one? Maybe it's up in here. It's so strange. Like, I don't know why. Board phone screen jar. I don't know where the screen in this this is the tall display one. Okay, so that's this one. See if this. Yeah. Okay, so that moves it. So we take this, and yeah. Okay, good. And then we go. I had to take the filters off because it's a little weird. There you go. Because you can still see Trump Epstein through the thing. That's my bad. There you go. Turn this off. There you go. Close. If we need it again, it's there. I've made it permanent, but I have to take this thing down a touch. And then let me shrink this down so you can see more of this stuff in the screen. Good stuff. Okay, so this is Hannity's response to this shit.
Bold flavor that fits your low-carb lifestyle.
Look out.
Healthy choice tomato basil chicken zero bowl.
Joe, I'm going to talk slowly. You listen.
Oh, it's Levin on Hannity. So this means, you know what it means when Levin's on. It's going to be a rant, and it means that that Hannity need to either vape or take a shit. And so he just kind of lets him go, and then he goes, that's it. And then he stops and they go, the great one, and leaves him back on. This kind of thing. So this is Mark Levin, and the title is January 6th Committee of Stooges. Always with those up-to-date references.
Listen slowly. See if...
All right, hold on.
Joe, I'm going to talk slowly. You listen slowly. See if
I think he's talking to Joe Biden is the idea.
I can educate you and all the...
I don't know that there was a guest on the show named Joe, or they had a fill-in host on Fox. Hard to say. Someone else cut this video. I did not take this clip. This is where they decided to start. They were like, this is a good angle of his dome. We're going with it.
The rest of them. This committee's filled with these bastards on this committee and these phony former federal prosecutors behind the scenes.
Terrible. Oh, God. He's already shaking. This is already upsetting him. These bastards. Married not even a year, and already this bastard has a girlfriend. How can you see so much? It's a gift. My name is Morton Porus. I was named after a Peruvian saint.
You know why this woman testified today the way?
Because, this is from the night of. Because she was asked, she honors her oath that she took as a public servant. She's so telegenic. She felt like she was denying America if we didn't get to see her get slightly dewy on camera. Maybe that's it. I'll think of it. Yeah. Son of a bitch bastard.
The way she testified today, in my opinion, this was her 5th interview.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And everything she said this time lined up with everything she said before. And it also, everything she said lined up with what other people said. Okay. 5th interview. Great.
They had her behind the scenes for 4 interviews.
Don't make me jealous.
They wore her down.
That's what it was. She looked worn down. She looked like she looked like a woman destroyed. I'm kidding, of course. Mark, you look like a woman destroyed. I mean that. I mean it's been a rough couple of years.
In my view.
In your view, they beat her down. In my view, my view, which is based not on any reality, just on my nasty nature, and if I got a hold of her.
Changed lawyers.
Right, she changed lawyers, and yet her statement didn't change. It's weird.
She said she had to testify today because of death threats. She couldn't testify last week or the week after that?
Last week or the week after. Last week, the week after last week is this week. So yes, she could have. You're right. She could have testified when she testified.
This committee is a farce. It is.
Yeah, it's totally a farce. That's why they're using recordings of words said by the president and Republicans who work for him, who apparently would throw themselves under the bus for the fucker, and yet when under oath finally said shit that he doesn't like.
It's a Stalinist committee.
Oh, it's a Stalinist committee. So she was summarily shot afterwards. She was put in a gulag, and everybody else in the back has been starved to death.
I want to tell Kevin McCarthy and the Republican leadership, you need to put out the equivalent of a protective order right now and let Nancy Pelosi know, and this Benny Hill Thompson who runs the committee, and Dizzy Lizzy, and you need to tell them right now they are to preserve all the records that this committee and the staff has pulled together.
They are. They don't need to be told that, fucko. They've already said they're going to make this stuff available when it's all done. It's the whole fucking point. By the way, as he's saying this, McCarthy's like, no, do not. I can't do that. No, we're writing up we're trying to pass a law if we seize control that says they have to shred everything. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Whether it's text, emails, documents, phone records. And while we're at it, they need to preserve their own texts, emails, documents, and phone records.
Why? Do you just want to read stuff twice? You want to be bored? What do you think's in there? This will get them. We have to make sure she only says exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. If she goes off script, we're all doomed. And why is he yelling? Because no one there wants to hear him. And that's your emotional reaction. Somebody in the chat was wondering why Mark Levin always yells. It's because it's the only way, because he's not sure if they've left the studio. They don't let him in the actual studio. They do this via satellite from his little Blaze location, or wherever the fuck he does it from, which is arguably a better set they let him use on Fox than on the Blaze thing. I don't know if there's like they built this for him or whatever. It's just a wall they roll in. But I think he just yells so that if Hannity's gone off the air, somebody will come in. Mark, what do you fucking do?
They need to tell Nancy Pelosi to preserve hers and Steny Hoyer too and their staffs.
Okay. Yeah, great idea. Okay. They'll keep their stuff.
Because this is the greatest, well, Russia collusion was the greatest.
All right, well, it's all downhill from there. I mean, it was the greatest. It was some great stuff. I mean, they did impeach the fucker. So, even though the GOP ran interference for him.
This is the second biggest farce against the American people.
The second biggest farce against the American people. So I'm taking you finally believe the moon landing and the Warren Commission. Good. Okay.
They bring this woman up to testify. She's about 25 years old.
Right.
Among other things, what does she say? That the president knew that there were going to be threats.
Uh-huh.
The president knew that people might be armed. The president knew there might be violence. Yeah, which is exactly why the president offered the National Guard on January 4th, according to 5 eyewitnesses.
Yeah, from states that supported his legal attacks on swing states to try and install himself as president. He thought this was the plan. Get National Guard people from Texas and Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee or whoever the fuck he thought would be on the team. Vast majority of them, 80-20. Maybe they just figured they'd have a kill rate of about 20% or some shit. Get them all standing up there. And then the Proud Boys would come in and then they'd fight with those guys. And then he'd use the Insurrection Act, declare martial law. Those guys would go get their guns. The National Guard guys who were on the team would turn on them. Then he would march up the stairs and with the National Guard at his back say, I order you, Donald Trump orders you to seize these people. Like, fuck off.
Of which he wasn't one. And it was turned down by Nancy Pelosi. It was
right, because she at the time couldn't think of a good reason why you would need that many people if it was just maggots. Now, the rest of us are watching the whole, like, it's going to be wild thing. We're like, this is no. But I think everyone was shocked that they actually went through with it, especially after their bullshitting about 2020 and the BLM Antifa riots and all that kind of stuff. They were shitting on the entire idea of it. Like, why would Nancy Pelosi think that maggots were going to attack the Capitol when Donald Trump had just bragged for months that he made it an automatic 10-year sentence if you defaced a fucking statue? Why would it be necessary? We have standard protocols. We're going to do this. They're not going to charge her. Why would we think they are? Well, a lot of them didn't, but enough of them did. And we never found Caden. That's right, Jathan. Where's Caden? Hashtag where's Caden?
Turned down by Chuck Schumer. We have 1,000 witnesses. How about 1,001?
Who cares? Hindsight's 2020. But what was apparently while Trump wanted there to be violence, the Democrats didn't take that threat seriously enough. I mean, you could argue that the voters did that beforehand in 2016, and the comity of the Senate and everybody trying to play nice, even with these fucking lunatics like MTG amongst them. And they were like, look, okay, he's done. He lost. We don't have to do this. It's going to look awful. It'll trigger the maggots. If we surround the place with soldiers, it'll be really gross. It'll make it look like we're authoritarians. We're going to, we don't need physical protection to just do the people's work. There's no reason why we should know, right? But, and P.S., if Nancy Pelosi had ordered 10,000 National Guard people to surround the fucking Capitol, the optics of that alone would have been off the charts absurd. They did not believe it was going to be that bad. They had no reason to believe it.
Nancy Pelosi, but no. This committee's filled.
But no, they didn't realize, Mr. Producer, they did not know that at any time, maggots are crazy. They're crazy people. They're even threatening her, and she worked for Trump.
Was stooges for Nancy Pelosi. No questions for her. If they knew.
No questions for her. No, they already know what the reasoning was. There's no fucking mystery there. She wasn't at the Willard.
There might be violence. She knew.
Yeah, minor violence. They were not expecting a giant attack on the Capitol. The weird part is that these assholes, their primary defense in this situation is Nancy Pelosi should have known that if you get a bunch of Trump fans in an area, there's gonna be murder. This is what Shapiro's gonna look like when he's old. Same kind of voice, except maybe he'll graduate out of reading off his laptop.
So why did she do what she did?
Why do you do what you do and you do what you did to me? What the fuck was that supposed to mean?
Just for Nancy Pelosi. No questions for her. If they knew there might be violence, she knew. So why did she do what she did?
Why does she do what she did when she doody-dooed in her doobie-doo? All right, why? I swear to God, does Sean Hannity just call ahead to the studio and go, guys, I got diarrhea again. Get bookmark.
Because she called them stormtroopers a month before or 2 months before.
Yeah, it didn't matter. 2 months before.
Here's another piece of information that this committee has that they haven't reported. How do I know?
Okay, how do you know? How do I know? Let's hear it.
Because of Kash Patel, your same guest.
Kash Patel.
He said in November, right after the election, Donald Trump authorized the transition to the Biden administration from the Trump administration in the Department of Justice. And Kash was in charge of debriefing scores and scores of Biden people who they assume will come in.
Right.
Now, if you're plotting an insurrection with the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, you not only do not offer 20,000 armed military to protect.
Oh, it's twice as many as Trump. I didn't realize you were there.
Protect the Capitol.
Is Kash Patel. Rock the Kash Patel.
You also do not participate in a transition period.
Well, you kind of do, because if you don't participate, it's hard to sneak attack on people when you're screaming bloody murder. I mean, that would be essential to the grift, wouldn't it? You would play by the rules up to a point, and then as soon as they turn their back, right?
Ordered the Department of Defense to work with the Biden people.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
They have no evidence for any of this. Committee's come up with nothing.
Apparently, you haven't been watching it. There's a shit ton of stuff. Most of what they've come up with is the testimony of people who worked directly for and around Trump.
Despite the fact it's all one way. And I want to encourage.
It's all one way. No, it isn't. There could have been other Republicans on this thing, but McCarthy only wanted people that were going to be subpoenaed.
Networks.
Is that Rudy's brother? He's like Gilbert Gottfried. Oh.
All over the country who I'm sure will listen to me.
No, I think they can hear you. The chances of them listening, very slim indeed. This is.
Fire your legal analysts. Fire them. There's too damn many former federal prosecutors. This isn't about a federal prosecution. These legal guys, they keep coming on. They know nothing about the Constitution. A president, a candidate, has the right to lobby. The state legislature, if he or she believes that the election...
Oh, now he's going to Georgia.
...there should be for them. It's a political process.
Yeah, they can lobby that, but he prepared a slate of false electors and they forged documents. They sent them to the National Archives. This isn't just like, hey guys, pick somebody who's nicer. You know what I mean? I know I'm going to lose, but can I lose a little? Like, can you dial it back a little? Like all of them want to teabag me. I don't think that's appropriate.
Protected by the Constitution. They have a right to litigate. They have a right.
Yeah, and they failed all those litigations. All those litigations have a date by which they stop. And by the way, that we were past that point with. Hold on, let me look up. Let's see what the actual. Yeah, Bush v. Gore was settled on December 12th. So as of December 12th, fuck you. That was the date when the Supreme Court, in that case, said, we're not moving forward. Stop the count. It's done. We're going with the winner as it is.
Ask Al Gore.
They did. You're talking about January 6th, you fucking ostrich egg.
To make allegations. They haven't called a single...
So, make allegations, but you don't get to sick people on the fucking Capitol.
...single Democrat official before this committee who violated Article 2 of the federal Constitution and changed the election laws.
Nobody did that. First of all, the states control their elections, so the Article 2 part protects their ability to have flexibility. The other thing was, there was a national emergency, and in all of these states, a state emergency as well, which gave a lot of latitude both to governors and election boards to conduct the election in a way that so that it could still happen during a fucking pandemic. There's no there. But of course, that's why he said fire all the people who, all your legal analysts and get them out of here, because this is his answer.
Because of hundreds of lawsuits brought by the Democrat Party before the election. We can even put aside ballot boxes and all the rest.
Yeah, well, that's because you have to, because it's bullshit.
They changed the laws. Now, the Supreme Court under William Rehnquist put an end to that with the Florida Supreme Court.
Right. Yeah, there was a date on it. You could fight up to a certain point, but by that date, it's your ass. And Trump had lost all those pushes even past December 12th. I mean, he hadn't won any real stays of any magnitude. All the recounts that were happening had happened in that time frame. And they're like, yeah, no, this we've canvassed. Nothing's going to fucking change.
But under Roberts, they didn't stop the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. They're trying to criminalize a political process.
They're trying to criminalize I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Meanwhile, we have this hack U.S. attorney in Washington. What are you going to do? Take my iPhone next, Mr. Graves?
No, Mark, no one talks to you. No one cares. By the way, why would the president need your iPhone? He can hear you screaming from Florida.
Go after Eastman? Go after another guy?
Yeah, Eastman. And I mean, if it's Eastman, it could be anybody. I mean, who is he but someone who was basically a conjoined twin of the president in this attempt? Why is he screaming? We don't know. I don't even know that he knows he is screaming.
Client privileged information there.
No. Privilege does not cover treasonous acts or unlawful acts. It doesn't work that way.
This committee has violated due process.
No, it has not. It's a committee. Nobody's been arrested. Nobody gets seized. The DOJ going after Eastman's phone is not an act of the committee, dum-dum.
This committee is withholding evidence?
No, they're not. They are showing their evidence, and then they will make a recommendation to the DOJ, and the DOJ will either act on that evidence or they won't. And at that point, everyone will have their due process rights met if they have to actually push back against it. Like, the fuck? This is basically a grand jury.
This committee is withholding exculpatory witnesses?
No, it isn't. The only people that are honest to God, the only people withholding exculpatory evidence or witnesses is Trump and his lackeys. Trump could testify. He was there for all of it. He could testify to his state of mind. He could testify to his communications. He could testify to what he told people and when. And as the president of the United States, former president of the United States, under oath, he would have an automatic, he'd be a stratosphere higher than everybody else who's testified. What's stopping him? What the fuck is stopping him? I'll tell you what's stopping him. Perjury is what's stopping him, because he knows he can't do it without lying his ass off.
You have a U.S. attorney who's violating attorney-client privilege and confidentiality?
No. Ask mobsters. I mean, he basically sounds like the mob's PR spokesperson.
And then you have a U.S. attorney who what?
What?
Oh, we're talking about. Oh, I want to read you something before I go.
Yeah. Wrap it up. Somebody just gave him the.
Here is Saul Weisenheimer, whatever his name is.
Saul Weisenheimer, whatever his name is.
Quoted by the New York Times, Peter.
It's the New York Times, or whatever it's called.
Baker. Did Trump commit a crime? This is the smoking gun testimony today, says Saul Weisenheimer, former deputy to Ken Starr. There is an
former deputy to Ken Starr. So basically, are all Republicans turning on you guys now? Is this all just about like everybody going Camp DeSantis?
Any question, this establishes a prima facie case.
Prima facie. It's okay. He's upset. He's reading.
For his criminal culpability on seditious conspiracy charges. Is this guy a schmuck?
Well, his name is Saul Weisenheimer. If you were going to have a schmuck, he would have that name. Yeah. Loud voices! I don't know what we're yelling about!
Doesn't establish any culpability for...
Oh, they're rolling the music. Wrap it up.
For anything. The two Secret Service agents in the car just said the testimony your young lady gave was false. False.
Well, they can testify under oath.
I'm done.
And I'm done.
That's enough.
Yeah, that's where he goes. He goes, I'm done. I'm through. Or whatever. And then they cut away. I guess at this point, Hannity wasn't back from the shitter.
Want to see more, Mark?
No, I do not. I really, it's bad enough I have to watch as much as I do. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. This is the reaction, though. This is what they got. And by the way, the entirety of this conversation, so far we've seen Don Jr. Calling Cassidy Hutchinson the new Jussie Smollett because she relayed a story by these two Secret Service guys. And then Mark Levin just kind of excoriating the existence of the committee, inferring that they're engaged in some sort of criminal conspiracy against poor Trump, and that they're keeping exculpatory witnesses like Bannon, Roger Stone, Peter Navarro, and Donald Trump himself from testifying. That's the story. That's he's sticking to it. There you go.